Welcome to the Good Life, where life is always good. My name is Kurt, and I want to thank you for joining me on my ride home today. If you could do me a favor before we get started, could you like and subscribe to help push this channel out to more watchers? So if you can do that, I will greatly appreciate it. I hope everyone had a great Monday and a great weekend as well. My weekend here in Texas was freaking cold. I want to say Saturday it was in the, or was it yesterday? It was one of them. All these days run together. But it was in the upper 30s, and this morning I woke up and it was in the low 40s. So this is insane. But right now it's 68 degrees, not a cloud in the sky. And all in all, it's a beautiful afternoon as I do my ride. I am roughly about a half an hour, well, maybe about 45 minutes from home. So um, I'm not going to take up all your time, so you won't have to listen to me. But um, yeah, I had a good weekend today at work. It was non adventurous. Um, as I said before, I work for Section 8, housing inspector. Um, no drama today, thank God. And I really haven't had many, you know, drama filled days. Occasionally, it'll be, somebody, that has an attitude, or you know, go do an inspection and house apartment's nasty. Ooh, Friday I went and did an inspection, and I had gone over there previously. And whenever I do an inspection, and for whatever reason the tenant's not there, or the tenant has the flu or COVID or whatever, it gets automatically rescheduled for 10 days. So Friday before last, I went and the lady was like, I'm not feeling well. I said, she said, I got the flu. Okay. Was she lying? I don't know. I really don't care. I'm, I'm not going to argue with you, or I'm not going to try to convince you to let me do the inspection, but whatever. So, okay. Popped up next Friday, and it took her a while to answer, to come to the door, and it also took a while to even respond. But my drive was to those that know this area. I had to go to Corsicana, so I had to drive forward to Corsicana, roughly an hour. So it took a while before she acknowledged I was even there. And then when she was like, who is it? It was rough. I said it's housing inspection. So it took a while to get to the door. She opened the door. She was all slumped over, and oh, I just got out the hospital, and I knew what was coming next. This is why my apartment's not clean. All right, well, don't worry about it. So, oh, when she opened the door, she had a dog, a big dog, big one. So she said, "Let me put the dog up." So she closed the door, come back, and the dog is sitting on the couch opposite of her. So I walked out and say, he's not going, he's not going to get up, is he? Oh no, no, he's not. I said, okay. So I go in the kitchen, and the kitchen was nasty. And once again, no, I'm sorry. No, my apartment usually doesn't look like this. Yada 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 yada. Okay, I'm doing my thing. I'm going through my checklist. I'm taking pictures. So I heard her say, "Sit down," and a couple seconds later she said, "Sit down again." So I guess the dog was raising up off the couch. So the dog did listen to her, which I'm grateful of that. So I go in the hallway, take a couple pictures in the hallway, because it was no. I went into one of the bedrooms that was opposite of the living room, and the room was nasty, dirty, stuff everywhere. So I took pictures of it. So I turned right to go down the other hallway, and something told me to pick up. I mean to flip on the light. I turned on the light, and there was a pile of dog shit, on the floor. And this dog wasn't like a poodle. It was just like a big dog, just a big, ugly looking dog. And I'm not exaggerating. This pile was the size of a football. And I kind of, peeked around the corner into the other bedroom, and I could see that there was like the dog had walked through it and went into the other bedroom. By that time, I was done. I took pictures, from where I was at. I took pictures, and I kind of, scolded her a little bit, but it was mild. I just told her that, hey, I'll be back in a month. This needs to be cleaned. Um, yeah, it was bad. So um, I got in my car and I sprayed myself down with this disinfectant that I always carry, and I have hand sanitizer with me. I don't think I have any more gloves in my car. I'm gonna have to get some, and I also have the plastic covers to go over the shoe, which if which the next time I go, I will definitely have them on my feet because I'm pretty sure um, that apartment is not going to be clean. Um, I have the I have the disinfectant wipes, so your boy comes prepared when I go do these inspections, and that was probably one of the worst ones I've had. I've had another one where the tenant he was actually I don't know how old he was, but he wasn't there. But in his bedroom, there were had been about 50 to 60 diapers in the room, and like these weren't kid diapers; these were adult diapers, but they were in a diapers. They were in diapers, so. But that dog shit is a whole nother level, and I'm gonna take a wild guess and say that while she was in the hospital, that dog was probably probably there by himself. Um, so yeah, that was my Friday, and so I had to drive back, back to Fort Worth with that vision on my mind. So it's gone now because I've done so much more over the last couple of days. So yeah, but other than that, I haven't had any fights, I haven't had any arguments. Um, I was dealing with a knucklehead one day that was drunk, so we exchanged words then, but nothing major. And turned out a couple of weeks after that, he ended up getting put off the program because he was drinking and driving. And this apartment complex was brand new, and they had all these trees in front of the down the sidewalk, and they were new trees, and there's about 8 of them that he completely ran them all over. So he ended up getting put off the program. But other than that, I enjoy my job, and just you see where I see a lot of these people, they are legitimately poor, and I do, and I can also tell when someone is working the system. People always talk about how people on Section 8 and on the food stamp program, how they always looking for government handouts, but so many of these corporations they also get government handouts. You know, Elon Musk, a lot of what he does with the government, he essentially gets money from the government. So you have these professional sports teams who have these owners have billions and billions of dollars, but they ask the taxpayers to, help fund the stadium. So that's a sense of a handout. So, but it's easy to pick on you know the less fortunate here in this country. Like I say, I can tell when someone's working the system. I I know it. Um, I'm no dummy, but there are some people who, they have, parents, or they have kids that are special needs, and essentially they're their caretaker. So everyone on housing isn't working the system, and every woman on housing doesn't have 8, 9, 10 kids, and six baby daddies. It's not that. Um, People are out here really struggling, and if you take housing away from these people, or you take food stamps, it's not called food stamps anymore, it's called SNAP program away, um, these people will more than likely end up on the streets. And then these apartments and these individual landlords, they absolutely would not have anyone to to move in into their units, just because rent is high. So um, it's a sad state of affairs, that we're dealing with, not just now, but just how we have people that are living off of these programs. And um, you know, once you get in that hole, once you get in that hole financially, it is hard to get out of. Now, there are people that legitimately get off of housing, and there are people who say that, you know, I go do the inspection. They like, yeah, this is my last inspection. I've been on here for 2, 3, 4, 5 years, and I'm done. I got a better job now. I'm in a better situation financially. I graduated and I got a new job, and you know, I can pay my full rent now. That's great, absolutely great. And we have programs that will allow people to earn money, and that money is put into an escrow. And then at the end of the program, they do get that money back. And sometimes those checks can range from a few $100s to, I don't know, 8, 9, $10,000. They can take that money and essentially do what they want with it. But this money that they've earned from paying rent and taking these classes, and whenever they're in this program, we at the end of the program we actually have a full fledged graduation form. They come in with cap and gown and pumping circumstances plan, and um, we have speakers, and at the end of the program we um, we feed them, and them and their guests. So yeah, it's a nice nice opportunity to give them props for their accomplishments. But yeah, it's good. Well, I just want to drop in and say, hey, what's up? I am. You can tell I'm not moving. I'm at a stoplight, but I'm on my last stretch of home. So I just want to say thank you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Peace out.